Hi there! This is another episode of LH Crypto Weekly Analysis.
Yeah, that's better. Hi.
Much happened last Friday, just after we finished shooting our previous episode.
We went off to bars.
Yeah, and we saw everything in bars, and we nearly caught a heart attack, and all our analytics department and traders department. They were just riding away in ambulance and so on and so forth. That was terrible. That's what we'll dedicate at least a half of our new episode. What happened last Friday?
Oh. I don't want you to know what happened last Friday, but okay. I'm going to talk about some some other things like dating services, Backed, and Britain.
Is it a clue what happened last Friday? Speaking of dating services. So, why don't we begin?
So, the word of the week next week is backed. They promise, as they always do, that next week, on the 6th of September, they are going to start storing customer bitcoins and preparing to the full to backed Bitcoin daily and monthly futures, which is scheduled for September 23. Well, from this window we know what happens with schedules and promises of backed, but let's hope that this time they're gonna make it on time.
Digitalizing is never an easy business. Well, but sometimes it is very profitable. United States authorities charged a 20-year-old man whose name is, quite a telling name, Kunal Kalra, also known as Kumar, Shekelmain, and Coinman, last Friday for exchanging $25 million in cash and crypto obtained from illegal activities using cryptocurrencies and unlicensed money transmitted businesses. The guy had a virtual currency exchange of his own in the United States, and it operated with no permission from the authorities for nearly 2 years, from May 2015 to October 2017. So he concealed these illegal operations, creating different bank accounts in the names of others and including fake businesses. The guy also admitted having his own ATM where he actually cashed his legal operations. The law enforcement seized nearly 900,000 in cash from Carla's bank account, along his vehicles, expensive ones. But the point is that they also had 54 bitcoins worth on his wallet. And the question is where the rest of money is.
Who knows?
Yeah. Speaking of profit.
And from this passionate speech, we're turning, hopefully, to oil and Texas oil futures that went down to 53 USD per barrel. But now they are recovered, everything's fine, and actually we don't know exactly why they fell down, or do we? Okay, you will tell about it later.
Suppose we do.
Yeah, I know why they went back to normal, and this are the report by OPEC Plus that says, wow, look at us, we're so great, such good boys, we've completed our a limited production. We've limited it to 159%. Wow. And we're going to make even more. So that's good news for us eco-activists. And American Petroleum Institute reports that their supplies actually dropped by 11 million barrels, which is a clear sign of high demand for oil, which is not so good for us eco-activists, but very good for oil supplies.
This is still the signal of those retreating fears and a good chance for your short-term or mid-term investments into the oil futures. Although no guarantee for the long-term, since controversial signals may come out of nowhere, jump out of nowhere, and they just throw all the charts into hysterical jumps up and down again and again. So that happened last Friday, just after we finished our episode. What was it? So, Within a few minutes after we finished editing our last episode and left office for the bar, like Catherine uncovered, unpredictable news came out of China. They suddenly breaking their silence and announced that planning to raise import tariffs on some US inputs. New tariff rates will apply to about 75 billion worth of US goods, including cars and auto parts and so on and so forth, to come into force on September 1st and December 15. Oil immediately came down, since the escalation of the conflict means lower consumption of oil, and so markets went down, greenback went down, and we have those screams out of developing countries like Russia, Brazil, Turkey, because, well, what happened to their currencies was really a heart attack. Well, then came a Powell speech. A much anticipated speech from the person who's considered to be one of the most influential on earth was nothing. Well, perhaps the economy does great, the economy of the United States of America, which means USD up, oil up, everything is good. Then, just after half an hour, President Trump fired all the possible anger he could through his Twitter, blaming Powell, booing on China, and threatening to raise oil-imposed tariffs on 5% more. Markets down again, scalpers glowing, somebody is shooting himself, somebody is hanging. And finally, at the dawn of weekend, US President Donald Trump again told us that trade tensions are about to ease, because somewhere in the middle of the night someone called and said, "Well, friend, I do not want this escalation. Please let us
friends.
Yeah, let's raise truce flag and sit for discussions and agreement." Yeah, but the problem is that on Monday China replied, "Well, we are not aware of any calls like this. Neither they called us from the United States in return." Markets down again. Yeah, this was a rally which will be remembered for long.
Okay, but let's switch from trade war to some
Another war.
No,
no, China.
no,
Okay,
Chinese.
sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to have positive news at last.
At last.
There is one company that is doing so great because it thrives on Chinese loneliness and Chinese longing for friends. So yeah.
Yeah, let's step back from building an economy towards building relationships.
A social network, Momo, is showing great results. They have recently bought this Tantan company, dating service, and they increased their profits by 169% in 3 months. And this also made their own profits, Momo's profits, grow by 30%. And actually, analysts say that it is going to keep on growing for at least 25% by the end of the year. The other war you mentioned is actually this great move of the British Prime Minister, who actually offered the Queen to suspend the Parliament for at least a month by preparing Queen's speech, which sends almost all Parliament to preparing this speech, and they can't work on anything else, which is very, very
counter-democratic.
So anyway, yeah, probably GDP will keep going down, and well, maybe you can earn on it, but it's all very sad.
For those who lose, but for those who can win, this is not sad at all. Yep, Catherine pointed the right thing, that all this mess puts GDP under a strong pressure and makes it too vulnerable to whatever news come. All the worse for the GDP, since a lot of statistics on British currencies coming in the economic calendar next week. So Sunday, September the 1st, we'll see the Chinese HSBC manufacturing PMI, a composite indicator designed to provide an overall view of activity in the manufacturing sector, a leading indicator of the production in the economy. which means salaries, which means purchases, well, and all this multiple effect. Monday, September the 2nd, we'll see the manufacturing PMI for UK and Deutschland in August. Tuesday, UK Construction Purchasing Manager Index and US Manufacturing Purchasing Index. Thursday, September the 5th, again US ADP non-farm employment change and unemployment rate in general for Friday. Be aware.
Well, may the prophet be with you, but not with Great Britain.
May the prophet be with us. Hope to see you next week. Bye.